How many times are you driving on the highway and see someone pulled over in the shoulder with their car broken down? Sometimes you look at the person and you say to yourself, I feel bad for them, I want to pull over and try to help them. Other times you say, wow, I feel bad for the person, but there's nothing that I can do for them. Other times you're just going so fast that you can't even pull over even if you wanted to. And I saw this a number of times when we were traveling up to the Catskill Mountains during the summer on an Erev Shabbos, where there are people who are pulled over at the side of the road because their cars are broken down. So what is one supposed to do in that situation? The Torah tells us that there is a mitzvah that if a person is sitting with their vehicle, back in the times of the Torah it wasn't a car, but it was actually a donkey, or in our parsha a donkey or an ox, that if you see someone who's sitting on the side of the road because their donkey is suffering, or their ox is suffering, that you have to go and help them. Now the Torah mentions this twice, in two places. One is in our parsha, and the other time is in Parshas Mishpatim. In Parshas Mishpatim, when it mentions it, it talks about the situation if a person is sitting on the side of the road, and they see the person who they hate, the person who they dislike. And Torah usually uses the word sonacha, that's a person who you hate, person who you dislike, and their donkey is coming and their donkey is suffering. So the Torah says you should help them. Even though you dislike the person, help the donkey, help the person, help them get back up. Because when a person is suffering, leave all the other emotions aside and help them. Take action. And in our parsha, the Torah says that when you see someone's donkey that is suffering, or their ox that is suffering, that is knocked down, and this person is achicha, your brother or your sister, you should help them right away. Just like in Parshas Mishpatim, you should help them. But the scenarios are different because one is someone who you dislike, and the other one is someone who you do like. So how do we make amends between these two concepts, these two ideas? So says Rabbeinu Bachya that the individual who you disliked in Parshas Mishpatim is now a person in Parshas Ki Teitzey who you do like. That sinna, that hatred, turned to ahava, turned to love. You used to look at that individual as someone who you hated, someone that you disliked, but now you look at that individual as a sibling of yours, as a brother or sister of yours. And the reason is because when there was standoff, when there was silence, when there was anger in the midst of your relationship, nobody wanted to budge. But you went ahead and you took that step. You weren't passive, you were active. Because when you saw that individual, even you were angry at that person, when you saw that they were suffering, or that their animal was suffering, or that their car was broken down on the side of the road, you took action. And you put your emotions on the side, you went to help them. And because of that, they said, you know what we have between us, let it be. And the ahava, the love grew between you and that individual. And now, that individual and the person themselves are now considered to be looking at each other as siblings, considered to be looking at each other as achicha, as brothers. And so, in our times, such a situation is when a person is broken down on the side of the road. And there are times when we may look and say, I hope they didn't see me because I really don't want to help them. I'm so angry at that person. Says the Torah, go out of your way. Make that first step. Be proactive. Whatever it is can't be too bad. Maybe there's a way that you can make shalom by virtue of helping that person. As angry as may you be, if they need your help, they'll appreciate your help. And they'll value your help. Even though they may be angry at you, you may be angry at them, go ahead and take the step. And this is an important message for the month of Elul. The month of Elul, we work on our relationships. Our relationships with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with God, our relationships with our fellow Jews, with our fellow human beings. And there are times that we are angry at someone for something they have done over the course of the year, or they're angry at us. And we've had so much time that we've stood on the side and said, look, I'm going to stand my ground, they're going to stand their ground, and whatever happens, happens. The time of Elul is a time to re-engage. It's time to try to make amends. And a way in which we can make amends is by trying to help others, trying to help people, even if they're people who we may be angry at. It's like sending some kind of a peace offering. And if we take this approach and take this this attitude, then perhaps we will see that in all of our relationships we'll be able to enter the Yamim Noraim with a sense of shalom, with a sense of peace within the relationships that we have with our fellow Jews, so that when Hashem looks at us in judgment, He can look at us with a sense of shalom as well. Thank you for listening, and have a good Shabbos.